Hey everybody, welcome to Seriously Equestrian. Life is better with horses. Today we're going to talk about 15 horse dreams and their interpretations. Eyes are the windows to our soul, there's no question about it. You can tell whether someone is good, bad, evil, or even mischievous simply based on the look in their eyes. But did you know that our dreams can be indicators of what our soul wants and needs? They can be premonitions of warnings for our future, or they can simply be reminders for a higher being to change our lives for the better. At the same time, dreams can also be recollections of our daily struggles. They can be our subconscious just bringing everything that we've been stressed about back to the surface. So while not every dream has a hidden meaning behind it, it's still fun to speculate over what every dream could mean after all. This is why we decided to go over some of the most interesting horse-related dreams and how we should interpret them for this feature. Why horses? Because symbolically speaking, horses are very important elements that shouldn't be taken lightly. So don't forget to set your alarms as we go on a snoozing trip all the way to dreamland, starting off with our first horse dream and our interpretation of it. Did you know that horses are symbols of power, strength, and health? A lot of the time it all comes down to the type of horse that you see and the way that they appear in front of our eyes. So if the horse you see in front of you is mighty strong, if they're a beautiful specimen that immediately intimidates you with just their presence alone, this could be a sign of power. At the same time, if the horse is in good condition, this could be an indicator of the fact that your health is in good condition and that your body's only going to get stronger and stronger. This does also mean, though, that if the horse you see in front of you is weak or in pain, you could very well find yourself in the same disposition too. A sickly horse could also mean that your mental health as well as your physical health is deteriorating. But it doesn't have to be a purely negative sign. It could be an indicator of the fact that you need to change your life, that you need to improve your own condition yourself in any way, shape, or form you can muster. Did you know horses are symbols of freedom and independence? Before there were cars, planes, and trains to travel by, horses were the only real means to travel long distances. So horses represent the freedom to move away from your problems, the freedom to make your way towards complete independence from those around you. This is why if the horse you see in your dreams appears to give off a feeling of freedom and independence, it could symbolize that you're heading on this way yourself. It could also represent the fact that you are yearning for this change and that you need to strive towards becoming independent. If you are in a toxic relationship, for example, if you hate your job with a passion, this could be an indicator of the fact that you need to separate yourself away from these problems. At the same time, if your horse is incapable of moving, or if they're trapped somewhere, this could mean that you need to free yourself from those shackles and move on with your life. Did you know horses are symbols of hard work? Back in the day, large draught horses were main tools used in agricultural work. They were the strong and dependable beasts that moved the carriages that no one else could budge. This is why we personally believe that dreaming of a strong and muscular horse could also be a sign that you are either undergoing a difficult job or that you're going to pull through with it. If the horse is happy to do the work it has on its hands, or better said on its hooves, then it could symbolize the fact that you are enjoying the tasks you have to undergo, even though they're anything but easy to get through. At the same time, if the horse appears to be deathly tired and overworked, it may be time for you to take a second for yourself and breathe. Working for a living is important, especially if you have others that depend on you in your life. But don't forget to also take care of yourself. A sound body and a sound mind will take you further than $1 billion ever will. Remember that and try not to exert yourself too much. At the end of the day, we all are just working horses and we try our hardest to earn our keep. But that doesn't mean we should forget how to take care of ourselves for the sake of earning more than those around us. Horses as symbols of fun and play. Horses are amongst the most intelligent creatures you'll ever come across. In fact, we would agree that they are the most intelligent companions we've ever had alongside us over the years. When we say intelligence, though, we also refer to emotional intelligence, as that's also a very important part that is oftentimes dismissed by intellectuals. So when they feel happy, when they feel like they're on top of the world, horses will always show it by frolicking around. This is why if you see that the horse in your dreams is having a blast, hopping from leg to leg and making lots of noise, that most likely means that you're enjoying life to the fullest at the moment. It could also be a sign that you need to stop and smell the roses because you're being a bit too serious right now. So loosen up a little and try to take a second for yourself. Play a game you like, go on a morning jog, eat that slice of cake you have saved up in your fridge, remember to smile. At the end of the day, a life without a smile is like a knife without a handle. Did you know horses are symbols of death? Last but not least, for now, we have the most ominous dream you can possibly have. If you've been seeing a sick or dying horse in your dreams, this most likely is a representation of death. So, you're either on your way out yourself, or maybe you've encountered someone that has just recently passed away. This could also mean that an aspect of your life that you clung hard to is coming to an end, or better yet, it could just mean that you are afraid of the change, and that in order to get through it, you'll need to let that part of you die, so you can move forwards. Now let's look at the most common horse dreams. We'll briefly go over the most common horse dreams that you can have, starting off with white horses. These are by far the most common horses you can find in your dreams. As such, you shouldn't be shocked to hear that there are also quite a few different interpretations to them too. For one, they usually represent that something good is going to happen to you in the near future, as the color white is meant to represent above all else purity, peace, and good fortune. For women, this could indicate that your marriage or relationship will evolve soon. In some cases, they've also been interpreted as someone plotting against you, especially so if the horse is seen at a distance from you in your dreams. Now, brown horses. Brown horses, on the other hand, are oftentimes interpreted as a sign of strength and power. They are also known for representing certain changes that will come into your near future. Black horses, on the other hand, are usually seen as a bit of an ominous sign, as they can imply that you are a bit too ambitious with your current plans, or that you're unable to control or resist your sexual impulses. At the same time, they could also mean that you have a chance to improve your life, but if you fail in your task, you will lose a lot more than you can afford to. Now moving on to wild horses. If the horses you see in your dreams are just skipping and hopping everywhere in the middle of nowhere, then chances are that you are actually craving freedom and independence from those around you. This may also indicate the fact that you want to search for a new medium to spread your creative wings in. So we recommend that you start looking into a new hobby to scratch that itch. Now, riding a horse. We all know that riding horses makes you look at people from a top-down perspective, which a lot of the time translates to you seeing yourself as being superior to those around you. So you should take this as a sign to stop looking down at everybody and stop being bossy. Freud also believed that this could be related to sex, as riding a horse could translate to you wanting to ride something else. What about crossing a stream on horseback? This is a very positive sign, as it usually implies that you are just done something very important, and in doing so you manage to overcome your problems. This could also mean that you're bound to get over whatever challenges you've come across in no time. Regardless, it's a positive sign for sure. What about falling off your horse? This, on the other hand, is quite the opposite of that former dream, as it usually implies that you've lost control over something and that you're now free falling. This is a bad omen, but it could also save you if you act accordingly. So take it with a grain of salt and make sure to keep a close eye on whatever problems stirred up in the near future. What if you're the horse? This may seem a bit scary at first, but usually it implies that you've managed to outrun your problems and that you've been able to finally get through everything on your own. But at the same time, try to remember what the landscape you were traversing looked like and how you felt, because these are very important tools to use in order to tell whether this was a positive or a negative dream. What about a dead or a dying horse? This type of dream is more often than not also a nightmare, and it usually means that you are afraid of death or dying, and that you need to let go of certain people from your life before they drag you down with them. It's usually a bad omen, although it could also be a sign that you need to change, which is not all bad in our opinion. What about being attacked by horses? This usually means that you are not being honest with yourself, or better yet, it could indicate the fact that you don't want to accept the truth that is right in front of your eyes. This is usually a bad omen, and it is 100% got to do with the choices you've been making off late. So make sure to look at your actions and try to change for the better before it's too late. What about being pulled on a carriage by horses? Horses pulling on a carriage is usually a good sign. This is because horses working has always been considered to be a sign of endurance and tenacity. So if you see that you're working peacefully alongside your horse, the chances are you're doing amazing and that you're soon going to get over your problems. What about flying horses? This is a lot more common than you'd think. This is the type of dream that always represents the fact that you're yearning for freedom, or that you are soon going to find a new path towards your future that you won't regret taking. What about talking horses? Horses are always seen as symbols of extensive knowledge and wisdom, which is why if you see a horse in your dreams talking to you, you should pay close attention to every word. This is most likely your subconscious speaking to you. After all, you need to listen carefully to what it's telling you. Selling or buying a horse? If you're buying the horse yourself, then that means that whatever deal you have coming your way will end nicely on your end. At the same time, if you're selling the horse yourself, this could be a sign that you're about to be tricked, so keep that in mind moving forward. Being kicked by a horse. Last but not least, we have this dream. This is very disastrous, and it's a sign that you should never take lightly because it oftentimes represents the fact that you're stressing out over something huge. So take this as a bad omen. Something is going to happen, and you need to make sure that you keep a close eye on everything because life could very well throw you a curveball next. Why are these dreams so important? Before we gallop away, we should first leave you with this very important rule of thumb. Never take your dreams lightly. This is because dreams, for the most part, are just our subconscious telling us important things that we need to keep track of and remember, and you dismissing everything as not important is doing you more harm than good. Most psychologists and spiritualists agree over the fact that our dreams are all just our subconscious trying to warn us of things that we are not yet aware of. Even Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, himself said that dreams were one of the most important windows into our consciousness. So take a close look at yourself in the mirror after that dream and ask yourself, what did it all mean? And what is my subconscious trying to tell me? There are a lot of other possible dream scenarios that involve horses, and that's a fact. But for the most part, you should focus less on what happened in your dreams and more so on how it made you feel. If you felt like your dream was a positive one, even though you saw a dead horse in it, roll with it. At the end of the day, that's about as good as an indicator of the fact that you're on the right path as anything else.